Combat.
Welcome back, you guys, to another episode. I think it's episode 10.
I'm glad you keep track.
Yeah. I've messed up like 3 episodes, though. I've realized it's like happening. I'm like, welcome to episode 7, and it's 8. But this week we're uploading 2 episodes because last week we didn't really have time to film, and I hope you guys are okay with that because it's happening. And you have no choice.
No matter how you feel about it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and today we're just going to do a chill episode. We're just going to talk about some of our commander decks that we have. We've mentioned like his Duretti deck, my Norin deck we've mentioned, but we haven't really like gone through and described the deck and like some cards, and I don't know, I think it'd be cool to just talk about our decks that we play.
Yeah, people, I mean every time people do talk about deck tech, or like their like decks, I don't know, it always gives you a different insight of the deck. So
because everyone plays each deck differently. And it has different
absolutely,
cards, so you want to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
So the first one I want to talk about is one that I just got on Friday.
So I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it yet. It's my Alicia Who Smiles at Death deck. I showed you the deck list, which completely changed, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Completely different now. So I actually, oddly enough, had an Alicia deck back when I first got back into Commander.
Yeah. I remember that one, because that was when I first started playing.
Yeah, and it was like, I tried to do like a token strategy, and I just did everything that had an ETB of like making tokens. And I wanted to build a Mardu deck really bad. And I was going to build Queen Marchesa. And then I looked at Queen Marchesa, and you cannot build her on the cheap. And if you have a deck list of a cheap good one, send it to me, because I cannot find a way to build it on the cheap. It requires a lot of expensive, like, black staples and stuff like that.
Well, in those colors, too. It's kind of hard to not be expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was looking online on the EDH rec on, like, Mardu commanders, and I saw Alicia. I'm like, I really did enjoy Alicia. I just didn't enjoy the way I built her.
Yeah.
So I went back and I built her again, and this time around, I built her like an aristocrat strategy, so the whole thing is just like sack my board, bring stuff back, rinse, repeat until I drain everyone or do something like that. And I think the reason I love it this time around so much is I got to add Teysa, the new...
Karlov?
Yeah, I got to add the new Teysa Karlov, and then Judith the Scourge Diva, who I both loved as command. I thought they'd be good commanders.
Judith is the Rectus one, right?
Yeah, the deal damage every time, and then it gives non-tokens +1/+0. Those two together are crazy good. We played last night, and I cast Judith once, Caitlin killed it, brought it back out of my graveyard, she killed it, and then I brought it back out a third time and she pathed it, or Swords to Plowshare, and I was like, I didn't even play it once, but...
Hey, but that's 3 cards she wasted on 1 card.
It is great, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I tested on X-Mage a ton, and then I got to test it a few times with Caitlin, and then we played with Johnny last night and got to test it a few more times. And it is so fun because just of the fact that I just like build this board of stuff, which seems so, I guess, minuscule, because everything's a power 2 or less for the most part. Because that's what Alicia's trigger is. You have to have 2 or less power. So everyone's like, oh, it's just a bunch of 2/1s and 2/2s. And then I'm just like, stack this to do this, to do that, to do that. And all of a sudden, like, 18 triggers go off.
And it's like a huge chain reaction.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I lost 30 life and whatever. I put 2 infinite combos in it. That are not necessarily the easiest.
Yeah.
The one is...
I don't mind it.
Yeah,
Does something just fall? It's fine.
Whoops. No, there is... So one is... Ashnod's Altar, Nim Deathmantle, Karmic Guide, and then any end of the battlefield trigger will work. So like, let's say I do a Ravenous Chupacabra as my end of the battlefield one. I sack. So Nim Deathmantle, you know what that is? You pay. Okay, if anyone doesn't know, it's a equipment that makes a creature get +2/+2 and becomes a zombie. It also says, well, a creature goes to the graveyard, pay 4 mana, and it comes back attached to Nim Deathmantle. So what you do is you sack Ravenous Chupacabra to Ashnod's Altar, make 2 mana. Then you sack your Karmic Guide to Ashnod's Altar, you get 4 mana. So the Karmic Guide hits the graveyard, Nim Deathmantle triggers, you spend the 4 mana that you just spent, bring it back, which when Karmic Guide's entered, you bring something else back, so you bring back Ravenous Chupacabra, and just rinse and repeat that, so then I can blow up the whole board creature-wise, or I can...
because with the Chupacabra, you get infinite...
Yeah, infinite death. And if I have like a Zulaport Cutthroat or Blood Artist out, I can do infinite death triggers also, so I can infinitely drain the table, or I can infinitely Gonti someone. So I can basically do anything in my deck infinitely, just... It requires a lot of setup.
Yeah.
And last night, Caitlin knew what the combo was, and anytime one piece came out, she's like, nah, like, I don't think want it to happen. And there's another one that's not as cool, but it's infinite murderous recap whatever, but it's pretty cool. But no, I got to, like I said, I played it a few times, and it is just like kind of got up there with like my favorite decks I own now. Like it is so fun.
I'm excited to see it.
It's really, really cool. It's very fun, and it's very I don't know, it makes you feel, it's one of those decks that you can just sequence stuff in such a way that it makes you feel good. You're like, man, I'm so good at Magic.
Yeah, I'm playing things.
Right.
Time with my Wizards deck.
You're like, yes, I'm so good. Because it's not objectively like powerful, but when all the pieces come together, it's great.
Because you're doing things instead of just passing turn and like waiting.
Yeah, but that's my new one, and I'm excited for you to play against it. Actually, it's awesome.
So my first deck I'm going to talk about is my Norin deck. It's my favorite deck. Well, second favorite. I think my favorite's my Rogues now.
Oh yeah.
But Rogues is cool. I just like Rogues better because it's like my deck. Like Norin, you can go on and find so many deck lists of it, but like you can't find my Rogues deck anywhere.
No.
Like I think there's one on Tapped Out that's similar, and they play it with Eldrazi, but that's it. But so my Norin deck, if you don't know what Norin is, he's a 2/1 Norin the Wary. Basically, when anyone ever plays a spell, goes to the attack phase. I think that's it. Norin leaves
when something enters or attacks.
Or whenever someone plays a spell or attacks, goes to the attack phase. Norin leaves the battlefield until the end of turn. So basically, Jordan plays land, he plays land tax, and then Norin leaves until Jordan's end of turn. So basically, the whole deck's built around ETB triggers, sort of like Jordan's Alicia deck, but it's more built around damage. So, like, I play a lot of Pandemonium, Warstorm Surge. When Norin enters the battlefield, I can deal damage to any target, planeswalker, player, or creature. I do a lot of damage doubling. Furnace of Wrath, Dictate of False Twin Gods? Dictate?
Yeah, something like that.
Dictate of something. I don't know. You'll know. That doubles damage, and then I have things like Genesis Chamber that say whenever a creature enters, make a 1/1. So then Norin leaves, comes back, I can deal 2 to something, make it 4 because it's doubled, and then I also make a 1/1. So then that 1/1 can deal 1 to something, turns into 2, and it's basically just like in one turn. I think the most I've done in our play group was like 40 damage to someone, like just by playing a spell.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It gets nuts, and it's very unsuspecting too, like because.
And mono red's sort of tricky to play because there's not a lot of card draw and ramps, so I play a lot of like weird like niche. I don't even know I guess you'd consider it jank cards. So when I'm playing Norin, they're all confused as hell about like what I'm doing. And then randomly I'll just like play one spell and win the game. It's just pretty explosive and it's very fun. Every time you play it, it's like a whole different experience. So I don't know. That's just one of my favorite decks I've ever built, and I don't think I'm ever going to take it apart. So
no, I wouldn't. It's amazing. All right, the next one I'm talking about is my baby, my favorite deck ever, and I've mentioned it every single episode. It's Duretti. So Duretti is, for anyone who doesn't know, is a mono red artifact commander. He's a planeswalker. He came out in the 20, whatever that one that had like Teferi and Omnath or Omnixilus and all those in it. But he so his +1 is discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many cards. His -2 is bring back an artifact from the graveyard, and his ultimate is anytime an artifact goes to the graveyard, it comes back to the battlefield under your control, which never goes off because it's game winning at that point.
We pretty much make sure that if he's ever close to ulting, we kill him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, he rarely gets close to ulting ever anymore. But so I got him back. So I wanted to build an artifact deck really, really, really bad. And I was going to build Breya, the Ethereum Shaper, for a while, and everyone has Breya deck. Yeah. She's like one of the best commanders.
And I feel like the Breya and Duretti are 2 different artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you play them way differently.
Yeah, because Breya's combo enabler all the way, Duretti's recursion. So I ended up building a Sidri Galvantic Genius deck, which is like you can animate artifacts and make them creatures, and that thing sucked. Mm-hmm. It was so bad. Like I played it and I bought it and I was like, oh my god, this is like. I played like 5 games with it and never did anything. So I was like,
you spent money on
and it was
shit.
Yeah, it wasn't like it didn't do anything. Like, oh, I have the possibility. Like once I broke it down, I'm like, why did I build this? Like this is terrible. Yeah. So I ended up scrapping that, and I always just craved an artifact deck. I don't know why. I don't have I don't know why I wanted it so bad, but I did.
Fun.
They are fun. And so I ended up when the Commander Commander Anthology 2 came out, our shop owner opened one case and said, I'll sell the decks individually. And he priced them out based on like obviously Atraxa was super expensive and Mimeoplasm, all that but then the Duretti deck was there, and I was like, you know what? This is back when I had that stigma in my mind of like mono red's bad.
Yeah.
But now I think that's the opposite. It's my favorite color. I don't have a I don't have a deck that doesn't have red in it anymore.
Right? That's how I am.
Yeah, I love red. But I ended up picking it up, and I played it one time out of the box. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I was able to do some like really fun interactions. I really enjoyed, what I was doing. So then I'm like, I'll put a little money into it and see what we can do with it. And a little money later turned into a lot of money later, and now it is my most expensive deck by far.
Well, in between that, didn't you break it down?
I did. I forgot. Thanks for my. Oh, I hate that I ever did that. It's,
Yeah.
I triggered.
Well, the first time you built it, it was with the precon slightly upgraded, and it wasn't that good, but you still liked it, and then you switched it to.
I switched it to
Saheeli.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, I added him to this. Yeah, I added the Saheeli. Saheeli the Gifted. I did that.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did Saheeli the Gifted. Cause I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can drop bigger, better artifacts.
Yeah.
And then
And you can play blue.
Yeah, I can play blue. And at the end of the day, I realized I was still playing all the mono red stuff I liked. I was still not using a ton of blue, and I was having even a harder time getting artifacts out, than I would. I'm like, in Duretti, I could get stuff out on turn 3 or turn 4.
It was more expensive, not money-wise, like CMC-wise,
Yeah.
so it was a lot slower.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I can cast, a Spine of Ishal. I only 7 mana, but I've got that out on turn 3.
Yeah.
Compared to, I'm not doing that with Saheeli until turn, 4 or 5. And so I was like, and it didn't feel good, and then I ended up rebuilding it.
And that's when it
got
took off.
crazy, and now it is my favorite deck in the whole world. So I didn't build it in, like a lot of people build stacks with Duretti for some reason.
We're not about that.
I don't love stacks.
We don't play stacks.
I like stacks effects, but I do not like stacks decks. So I ended up building him back up, and I did him with just a ton of synergy where I can do a ton of different things, and I have 1,000 ways to win. I have, like, the one game I played, I was able to make 3 copies of Blightsteel Colossus. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So I have that as, like, a win condition, and I have stuff like, I have I can do the Nev's Disc,
yeah, that's
Unwinding Clock, Dark Steel Forge combo, which I guess is stacks, but I can blow up the board on everyone's turn.
I wouldn't consider it stacks. It's more kind of like a lock.
Yeah, just lock the board and just then swing in with Blightsteel, or I have that, that dragon that you can pump 2 mana into to give it +X+0 where X is number of artifacts, and that thing just gets way too big for words and hit someone with that. But yeah, and it's
pretty good.
Yeah, and it's definitely I don't know, the deck makes me feel like I'm doing stuff constantly because I'm either pitching stuff in my graveyard to get more stuff from my deck, or I'm bringing back out huge stuff from my graveyard. And it's nice because it's almost like I just have an extended hand the whole time. Like, my graveyard's not a graveyard to me, it's just an extension of my hand.
But it does ruin your game if you ever get Bajuka bugged.
And it's happened.
Yeah,
it's happened. Yeah. So
Jordan's had like half his deck there, and they're just like, Bajuka bug, and Jordan's like, I'm out. Like,
right.
like all my win cons are in
here.
here.
It was just so. Yeah. But it was, it's just one of those things that I don't think he gets a lot of love.
I feel like he's really underrated.
Yeah, I think me too, and I'm not trying to I played the niche guy. He's not niche, but he is definitely, again, he's not in like the top 50 commanders on certain websites. So I think if you want a cool artifact deck that does really cool interactions, I really, really recommend trying Duretti out. Mm-hmm. And the precon does come with a lot of really good cards in it. Like, it has Wormcoil Engine in it. And Unwinding Clock, which I know isn't expensive, but it's still a lot of there's a lot of really good stuff that you can do with that. So
it's a really good deck.
I love it.
All right, my second deck is gonna be the one I mentioned earlier, Rogues, and Jordan has it up on EDH.
I did. I
caught it.
I did. I wanted to see on EDH Rec of everything EDH Rec has compiled. There's only 96 Rogue decks.
Okay.
Total, and that's 17% of all the SIG decks that exist on.
So then, what's the rest of them?
I think just like Dimir good stuff. Let's see. So
combat damage.
So yeah. So 76.7% is none. It's just whatever. And then Rogues is 19%, and then the budget, and then it's like for some reason 3.2 is bounce, Merfolk, wheel.
I can understand the Merfolk and the wheel.
And then discard, and then fairy.
Okay.
But even then, 19% of a total is.
No, yeah, it's pretty small. I'm actually surprised by that.
Yeah.
So before anyone's confused, what's its power? A 1/3.
1/3.
Okay. The deck I'm talking about is my Rogues deck, which is a Dimir deck. The commander is Sig River Cutthroat, and he's a 1/3 Merfolk Rogue.
Merfolk Rogue.
And you could play 2 blue or 2 black or one or the other.
The hybrid manas.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. and he reads whenever anyone loses 3 life, I want to say.
At the end of turn,
if an opponent loses 3 life, you may draw a card. Keep in mind it's a May, which makes it better. Just because, I don't know, it's just, May's better than always.
Yeah.
There's really no explanation. But the deck I found online, it was basically a tapped out website, and it was Stranger Things. And like this was right when Stranger Things came out. Jordan and I were really into the show.
Oh, yeah.
So like I saw this deck, I was like, cool, what the hell is this? And they basically like named every single person or each creature in the deck after a character in Stranger Things. So I ended up taking that deck and redoing it, keeping some of the main elements but making it my own. And I turned it into a tribal rogues deck. So basically the point of the deck is play a bunch of rogues, give them all buffs, do at least 3 damage to each opponent, and then off of that attack step you get 3 cards. And then usually I have things out like Biden of Thassa, whenever a creature deals combat damage, draw a card. So I'm drawing like 5 to 10 cards a turn.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a ton.
It happens a lot. Jordan looks over at me and he's like, what are you doing over here? He's like, Kevin just drew 20 cards and no one's worried about it. And it's also kind of sneaky because they're all 1/1s and 2/2s, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I'm gonna give them Infect. Hey, I'm gonna make them unblockable. Hey, I'm going to steal all your creatures. I have a lot of cloning effects in there, because the original build was Eldrazi, which I'm not a huge fan of. Yeah. Just personally, not even like, other people in our group play Eldrazi. It's just...
Yeah, I don't mind Eldrazi. I just don't like... I don't even like it with... I would rather have that with like an Animar deck, not a Sig, you know?
So I'm like, I'm going to take all these Eldrazi out. I'm going to put in some clones, Phyrexian Metamorphs, and the also thing I discovered was there's a lot of cool... like Prowl.
Yes, I was getting ready to say Prowl is my favorite part of that deck.
So I found out that there's a whole mechanic called Prowl, specifically built for rogues. Why did no one tell me about this before? And it basically says if you dealt combat damage with a rogue, ding ding ding, that's what my deck does, you get to cheat stuff in for free. So I think I have a counter spell in there that like it only costs 1 blue instead of like 5 blue, which is like insane. And like
you have that one that lets you search people's libraries.
Oh, I can play a card out of it for free.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of stuff like that. I play like Beseech the Queen. I don't know. It's just like a really fun deck. I guess you can consider it Dimir good stuff, but it's mainly rogues.
Well, I'll say it's rogues and clones, and you just clone your rogues.
There's some like Torment of Hailfires in there just to be like a game ender. Oops. But yeah, it's just like a really cool deck. No one's expecting it. Whenever I play it, everyone's like, what the hell is this? Or at least with new people. You guys know what it is. But like, if I play it at like the shop, everyone's like, what's this Sig River Cutthroat?
Because he's like already not like a... I mean, let's just see. Let's see who like... I want to see if he's even in the top Dimir commanders. Just... Because he is like... I didn't know about him until...
Because Una's in there. Una's usually the one because it's a fairy deck. Oh, he's there, but he's really low.
Like 7 or 8.
Yeah. So I mean, he's still pretty underrated. But I
mean, there's 501 decks on EDH Rec for him compared to Phoenix, who's the number 1, who has 1,500.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a pretty cool deck. I just enjoy playing it. It's one of those decks that like I spent a lot of time building the deck list. Like I told Jordan about this deck for like I think it was like 13 months before I even ordered it.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And I was like changing the deck list and sending it to him every day, playing it online, and just like it's my baby now. So
it's amazing. It's one of those things that's like I know it's like a niche thing. I know it's a weird like who plays Rogue Tribal? Like no one. So but then at the same like not only is it I can tell you love like you have so much fun playing, which is all that matters at the end of the day. But it wins, and it wins like because it's
pretty good.
Because and if he targets you. That's it. Like you're done. Like when I play, because he always. This is the one. Me and Kevin have a lot of like inside joke. Like I guess they're like or just references we made.
We just hate each other.
And if he puts Sig out, he goes, "Now's your time to play Duretti. If you want one chance to play Duretti today and not have people get mad, now's your chance." And I'm just like, all right.
Because usually I play Craig Blanchett from Game Nights. He coined the term dog. What is it?
Like the junkyard dog mentality.
Junkyard dog method. Like the Sandlot, that one dog that just hangs on and doesn't let go. I always play that way. You target one person and you stay targeted on that person until they're dead. And so that's what I usually do with Jordan because he usually doesn't get mad. So
we had that conversation last night. Me and Caitlin were just like, we had a conversation about that weekend that I got like bullied really bad. Like when everyone was like, I actually got like mad enough that I'm like, no, I don't want to play Magic anymore.
Yeah, like I'm not playing anymore.
Because everyone bullied me for 2 days straight of every game of Magic we played. And Johnny was like, but Kev does that too all the time. I go, there's a difference between what Kev does and what everyone does. Kev will also like let off me when I'm not having a good game.
Yeah.
Like I get when I'm the target and if I'm the threat and I'm being targeted, fine. But when you're bullying me because of like, remember 8 games ago when you did this? I don't want that. But
no, usually if that one game with Tressorhorn, I swung 10 infect on you on like turn 3, and then the next game I didn't touch him because I was like, I'm already ruined his night enough. Like he's already pissed. So
yeah, but yeah, it's definitely if you get Junkyard Dog by that deck, it is. Yeah. I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty sneaky.
All right, so the deck that I want to talk about next, my third deck, is another new-ish one, and I did a deck tech over on Caitlin's channel. I think we've referenced that before on here. My wife has a YouTube channel about Magic as well, and I did a deck tech on there. It is my Lord Windgrace deck, who is...
It's a beast.
God, he's so good. Yeah. I didn't tell you... I don't think I've talked to you since then. Well, I'll get to it in a second. Okay. I have a side story about this deck. So Windgrace was another one of the commanders that came out of the 2018 Commander. Yeah. And he was the Jun's Land Matters deck.
Dude, people gave them so much shit for him too. And he's like good.
Oh, it's crazy good. The deck was terrible.
Yeah.
The pre-con was awful. Yeah. But the deck itself, or what you can do with him, is amazing. So I used to have an Omnath Locus of Rage deck, the red-green landfall.
The elemental one?
Yeah, he's so good. So what I did was I just took what I had from that, because I had a lot of the like expensive landfall cards and all that, and I put it into Windgrace and then added some of the black cards that you can add to because of Windgrace's color identity, and it is such a beast, and there's no slowing it down. Mm-hmm. It is I think he's the best lands commander ever. His +1, discard a card, and draw a card. If it's a land, draw 2 cards. So you're pitching lands to get extra cards. Then his minus lets you bring lands back, and it's just nuts. And then you get and all of a sudden you'll have a board of like. You'll have, if you play 1 land, you're going to make 2 tokens, you're going to drain people of life, you're going to get to draw cards, you just, like, off of playing 1 land, you get to do so much stuff. And your creatures get big, or you can drain people, there's 1,000 ways to win, and whatever. And it's amazing. And the side story I want to tell, we played last week at the shop up with Riley and Alex. And I was looking at my hand, and I was looking at the board, and I'm like... I win next turn, no question. I didn't win. Caitlin beat me. Caitlin killed us before that, but gotcha. I didn't get to get back to my turn. So in my hand, I had 18 lands out. Okay. In my hand, I had Craterhoof Behemoth, and I had that card that says untap all lands, they become 2/2s.
Yeah.
And I had 9 5/5 elementals, 4 2/2 elementals, plus. I think 5 0/1 plants. Yeah. And I'm like doing the math in my head, and I'm like, if I play Craterhoof and make all my lands creatures, I'm swinging for like something like 1,400 damage. Yeah. And I'm like, I was sitting there just talking. I'm like, you guys are dead next turn. And then Caitlin's like, give all my tokens like +3/+1 flying. She's playing her Super Friends deck, and just like, she's like, can I just kill everyone? And I'm just like, man. And I was like, can I play it out? And Caitlin's like, I mean, you're dead, but sure. And I was like, swinging for 1,000. She's like, you're still dead.
Yeah,
and I
still killed
I was like, bummer. But no, it's just a really, I don't recommend picking up the pre-con. If anyone's new, don't pick up the pre-con.
Just buy the commander.
Just buy the commander and build it. You can build it cheaper, and the pre-con was so bad. Because they were like, it's lands matter. And then there was nothing to do with lands. There was like 2 landfall cards in it, maybe even 1. But it was really bad. Yeah. But he has quickly become like my... If I'm spiky and everyone needs to get beat, I play Duretti. But if I just want to have a really fun, like crazy game of just doing, ridiculousness, I go to.
It's just super fast. That's the thing I hate about it. Is like it's lands, it's grain, like we get it, you ramp. But like when you have your commander out on like turn 2, and then like you're playing a burgeoning, an Oracle of Madaya, and like an Azusa, and then I have 40 lands in hand. I'm gonna sack all my lands and make 2/2s. It's like I'm still playing my second land over here.
I sack all my lands.
I'm playing mono red. I got a Soul Ring.
But it's hard. It's great, and it is fast. It is very like off the rip. Like your turn 1 options are crazy good. Your turn 2, 3, 4s of just ramping are awesome.
If you don't have like 3 things out on turn 1, like you're not playing the deck.
Yeah, like I have a bunch of 1-drops that are good, and then it's just all of a sudden now you're just, and then it's to the point where you just have so much mana that. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to play Avenger of Zendikar and Craterhoof Behemoth in the same turn. Like that's
Well, that's like the main rule of Magic is you win if you have the most mana. Basically.
Yeah, and that's I think the reason why, because I'm able to do so much more, and the fact that I'm able to have so much that it's expendable. Yeah. And that's a big thing for me. Is like, Oh, I have so much mana that I'll just sack a couple of them for value and not miss a
whatever you
beat
want.
ever again. And I'd bring him back, but it's still great. But he's my favorite lands commander of all time. He's amazing.
He's really good.
He's so good.
All right, so for my last deck, I know Jordan's gonna love this one. It's not good at all. It's my worst deck I think I have. It's Isamaru Hound. He's a 2/2 mono white. It's a 2/2 for 1. He's a dog. He's from Kamigawa. What more could you ask for?
Nothing.
Kamigawa, and he's a dog. Like, I'm in.
And he's a 2/2 for 1.
Right. He's mono white. It's basically a Voltron commander, and like this is why he's bad. Just most Voltron-y commander damage methods are awful unless you're playing Zur, and like that's about it.
Yeah.
And
or Zergo, he's pretty good.
Yeah. Mono white doesn't help at all either. Really slow. I mean, with what's this that just came out? Ravnica Allegiances, that Smothering Tithe, like that would go perfect in there. Draw some cards, ramp. I don't have a land tax in there.
No.
The main thing...
Because the land tax is worth more than that deck.
Yeah, that's why I forgot to say. The whole deck costs $24.
Like Ishimaru is...
The Ishimaru is like $6 or $7. So like the deck of the 99 is probably like $18.
Yeah, it's great.
It plays like 35 planes, and then the rest are all equipment.
Yeah.
And it's basically just play this dog for 1, really cheap, on turn 1, and then you just put as much equipment on it as you can. I have a few like infects to like make it competitive enough to play it. But I mean, he does get targeted a lot. He's really easy to kill. You kill him once, I mean, you only have to pay 3, but then you have to reattach everything.
You gotta guarantee that you have an indestructible equipment going in.
Usually when I play, I have to make sure I have like enough lands and like an equipment that's gonna not kill him.
Yeah.
Like gives him hexproof, haste, or something. But it's just a really fun deck. Like when everyone's playing their shitty deck and like we just want to have a fun game, like just here's my dog, swing for 44 with my puppy, and everyone's like, what are you playing? I don't know, it's just a fun deck. I love janky decks.
Yeah.
The whole reason I started playing Commander was like playing cheap, weird decks. So like this Isamaru Hound's like my one deck I've had forever that's like super budget and jank, but super fun. Because I had that Tressorhorn deck, but I took it apart.
Yeah.
I kind of want to rebuild it.
I would. It's so good. No, I like Ishimaru only because at the end of the day, it's almost kind of the thing where like I feel the same way like why people like Dredge and Storm is like how quickly can I storm off? How quickly can I dredge my my whole deck? It's one of those things where like, all right, how big can I get Ishimaru and swing it? Like
before he gets killed.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's almost like even if you lose, you're like, yeah, but he was a 30-30 like and
this was a 30-30 puppy who costed 1 mana.
Right. At the end, so it's still fun, and as long as you go into the mindset of like I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna have fun doing it. That's all.
It's just a fun deck. I mean, Magic at the end of the day, it's all about whether or not you're having fun. Who cares if you won or not?
And that, I mean that's because if you really think about it, like everything, almost every commander we've mentioned, at least the way we play them is more on the edge of fun than it is on.
We're not a competitive player. No. We have a few people like Riley and Alex who have like competitive-ish decks, but I don't know. I don't feel like they're impossible to beat.
No, they're not. They're hard to beat,
Yeah.
and Caitlin's Kydel deck's really hard to beat too.
Yeah, and we switch it up a while anyway, so like we'll play like with the competitive people 1 week and then
and even then everyone has their decks that I can play them competitively, or I just bust out my mono green Omnath deck, which is like my budget deck, and but
it's still pretty good.
It is really good still. That's why it actually wins more games than it rightfully should for the $38.
Well, when you said your Omnath or Lord Windgrace is the best lands deck, I was like, that mono green Omnath is kind of up there.
Yeah, he's good.
It's just that he's mono green. He's not as good.
Yeah, and his is more just make big mana and make him.
Yeah, make 30 mana.
And then he's 30, and then it is almost like dumb. Like because you just tap your mana every turn, swing him, and then you just have floated green mana for the rest of the game. It's amazing.
All right, well, that's all of our decks. Now we're going to go into our favorite thing of the week.
You can go first.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is actually going to be something I did this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Jordan knows. This weekend in Cleveland was the Cleveland Tattoo Convention. I think it's happened 4 years now. It used to be, it's pretty big in other cities, but Cleveland just got into it, which I'm really excited about. They had, I want to say 9 people I checked on the website who were in Inks Masters or were finalists on the show, so like, they're pretty famous artists. Like, they cost a lot of money. They're all from LA or New York or like across the world, so like you're never gonna see them again. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite artists, his name's Joey Perez. He's from Brooklyn, or I think he's from Manhattan. He told me he works in Brooklyn. he's a tattoo artist who specializes in black and white. And I got a tattoo on my upper elbow. It was a camera. I'll remember to put a picture in right now. He was just super friendly. I don't know. I like going to conventions and walking around and seeing things. Like, even if it's like something that I'm not familiar with, like tattoos. Like, I only have 2 tattoos, and everyone there was full covered face, neck, like sleeves.
You can go there and appreciate the art at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And like everyone was staring at me like, what's this bare ass young white dude like walking around Cleveland? And I don't know. I just really liked it. I love my tattoo. I was really happy with the artist, so you guys should all go check him out. But no, that's my favorite thing.
So my favorite thing is gonna be super weird because it's actually gonna start off on a super negative note.
Uh-oh.
But it's gonna like. So
We'll bring it back.
It's so don't like think my favorite thing is this first thing. That's not the case.
Okay.
So if anyone who knows me, since I was a young teenager, I have like lived, breathed, and died by the hardcore community. For anyone who doesn't know, it's like the metal community but a little more underground, and it is a very, very, for the most part, there's always gonna be bad eggs. So if you know someone who's the bad egg, don't think that they're the representation of it. But it's a very welcoming, a very friendly, it's just like you can come there and it does not matter if you are what color you are, if you're gay, trans, it does not matter who you are. We're all there for the same reason, and we're all there.
Not just a bunch of bikers with cigarettes and
tattoos, it is a very accepting. It doesn't matter.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's an amazing community, and this week, some stuff has happened in this community that has been awful.
Spill the tea.
One, the band Revenge Season. If anyone listens to Revenge Season, I hope after today you stop listening to Revenge Season. Their lead singer, she is I forget her name. I think her name's Morgan or something. Some tweets or some leaked screen caps came out of her in an old group message and her band being overtly racist. Mm-hmm. Very racist. And as of this morning, so rewind a little bit. She, in the midst of her getting this backlash for just being racist in a community that does not accept that in any way. I mean, that's just not okay. And it's not okay anywhere, but in our community, it is. I mean, it is. You're out. Like, go.
Because you don't want to like keep adding to the stigma.
Yeah, exactly.
That these people are all just mean.
Exactly. Yeah. And so she had apparently last night or the day before had texted her friend in the band Bloodbather, who, if you're into hardcore, I highly recommend checking out Bloodbather. They're incredible people. The lead singer is black. She had texted the lead singer of Bloodbather and said, "Will you take the fall for me? Will you go out and tell everyone that you took my phone and texted these things because you use the N-word and you're black? That's okay."
That's super fun.
And the dude was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, why would you ask a black dude that?
Yeah, he was like, not only do I hate you for what you said, but you want me to like be your fall guy. So as of this morning, over the course, called her out. Yeah. For the first few days since when this happened to on now, they have been dropped by their label. They were kicked off of a festival. They were kicked off of a huge tour they were doing, and now they are not a band anymore. Damn. And
wait, was it confirmed that like everyone in the group was doing this, or was it just the lead singer?
What it comes out is that they all knew about it and didn't say anything. So they were out here preaching on Twitter about the acceptance of the hardcore community, and then behind closed doors were very.
I was gonna say it's one thing if it was just her, just kick her out, get someone new, but if it's the whole band, throw them all away.
Right. So they're done, but from this, kind of reestablish my faith in, because I'm almost 30 now, and I don't go to shows as often. I don't like participate in the community like I used to, but to watch the community come together and like be like, this is not okay and this is not what we stand for, was really reassuring and awesome to me. And I was like, this is why I loved this community for so long, and I still do, and I always will. Just to watch all these bands come together and just be like,
fuck you.
Yeah, get out, we don't want you. And if you want to go do that anywhere else, but you are not supported. Yeah. The band that they were going on tour with, they're called Old Wounds. Okay. Amazing. Actually, their lead singer, I know you're a beauty guru, dude, he's really like, he does a lot of like beauty guru stuff. Yeah, on stage full.
Is his jawline like?
Oh yeah, I'm dead serious. On stage, like they're playing like heavy music, and they have like, he has the full makeup and like
he's like, contoured to the bone.
Yeah, and so but the way they kicked them off the tour was they just said, on a tweet. They didn't like text them and be like, "Oh, hey, you guys are done." They literally said, "Revenge season is no longer on this tour. We don't stand for that shit."
Okay.
That's how they found out they were kicked off this tour, was on Twitter by this band. They're like, "We don't even want to talk to you." That's how like
we're not even gonna message you.
But just to watch the community come together and like reassure everyone, like, "Hey, this is not how we are." And
we
this
hate here.
Yeah, we do. We hate. They're not a part of our community anymore. They will never be a part of our community. So don't let that like be a stigma for the community.
Yeah, of course.
And that was just really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I mean, this is a quick little side note. This in this last week, this like hurts my heart so badly. 2 musicians from our community actually died this last week.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. One of them not really from our community. He was from the pop punk community, but pop punk and hardcore have always been like.
And seeing any musician.
Yeah. So the guitar player for Gorilla Biscuits, they were an old '80s positive, like very like positive like hardcore band. He died this past week, and then 3 days later, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, the guitar player for Transit, who is a pop punk band from Massachusetts, who are absolutely incredible. I've seen them a few times and they're absolutely incredible. He died, and I think he was only like in his like early, like late 20s or early 30s. Yeah, and it was so.
So he's young.
But again, then the community came together for both those bands, and it just was really. It's been a good and bad week for the community, but to watch everyone still come together and like lift each other up without knowing each other, yeah, was awesome. So my favorite thing was like definitely watching my community thrive through terrible times, which is awesome.
That's awesome. All right, well, that's it for today's episode. There will be another episode this week, so just get ready for that.
And don't bash us wearing the same clothes we're filming right now.
We can't change, okay? We'll see you guys next time.
See ya!
Bye!